This video is brought to you by these fantastic sponsors, as well as Mobile Gaming News Network, mobilegamingnews.com, your one-stop shop for all your mobile gaming news, reviews, and information you can use. Head on over and sign up, and if you are inclined to write some articles, go ahead and sign up for that as well. We are always looking for more writers. But with that, let's get into the video.
Welcome to the Infinite Library.
Hey guys, what's up, and welcome to episode 4 of the Infinite Library. I think we've only had two weeks between this one and the last one, so we're getting a lot better at getting these done. I am joined with Pachex and Snow as always. Say hey guys.
What's up?
Hello. Let's face it, we just do these whenever we want.
Yeah, that's pretty much true. But
it's a bi-weekly podcast, I guess.
It's podcasts. New podcasts when we put them out. That's what we will aspire to.
When it's ready.
Well, in all honesty, last week there wasn't nothing exciting, so it wasn't really too much to talk about anyways.
Well, yeah, no, there definitely wasn't. But there is a lot of stuff to talk about this week, like the dev notes. It's always great, Wednesday morning when I wake up and I'm like, man, this video is not going to be too long. And then I'm like, oh, dev notes and patch notes and a bunch of other stuff. That's cool. Better get ready for a 45-minute video of me just reading things improperly.
I have a Shogun yawn counter.
Yawn counter. I mean, it should actually, when I'm editing it, I should just go through and just have it pop up on the screen of how many times that I yawn. But I think it's a good game for the people in the comment section to put down there how many times I have yawned through the video. But enough about me yawning. Let's talk about some of the stuff that came out with the dev notes. So first up is going to be the world boss changes. And I mean, I know that a lot of people still hate world boss. It is not what anybody thought it would be. It's not what I thought it would be, but it is probably one of the best, just throw 20 stamina into the void and receive prizes. Hit button, get prizes, because I got a Mulgore the other day, so literally everything else that I did was worth it just for the Mulgore and the couple gold transmit stones. But they really ramped up the gold. I think even the base gold now, if you got the worst rating humanly possible, is still 9,000 a thing instead of 6,000. Well, 6,000 was the max. I don't remember what it was if you were down in the BC level. But I think at the top it was something around, wasn't it 16,000 per
15k
15
for triple S plus or whatever
triple
it was.
S plus. Now, one of the things that they didn't really explain too well, I don't think, was what you're getting for the plus version, because there's A plus, S plus. Does S plus just guarantee better maybe gold chests or something along that line for that tier?
It just gave you 8 chests, I think. They didn't.
Yeah, I think it was just a number of chests.
They didn't really list off any of the prizes.
Yeah, but I thought S and S plus both gave you the same amount.
Honestly, I didn't look at it that closely.
Yeah,
I just figured
I was looking around on
something.
it. Yeah, trying to find out what it was that they were saying. I don't think they gave us there wasn't too much information on there. Just mostly the gold changes and the fact that they're taking out the lesser runes and the pet snacks. And at first when I read that, I was actually a little bit upset, because I was like, man, I actually like pet snacks in there. And then I got later on, and then they said they were just getting rid of pet snacks. But we'll talk about that more.
You were one of the few people who were not happy with pet snacks being taken out.
That ought to be a fun discussion.
I don't know. Yeah, but anyways, no, I do think though that them tuning up world boss is pretty good, because I mean it's definitely worth your value. I mean, it was worth your value before, just because you got the guild token, as well as pretty much even. I think if somebody was even if you got if you got triple S and you got all gold, it was still more gold than if you did a Wyvern run and got a disappointing piece of 70 gear, because that's what you were going to get in the first place.
I still honestly hate the world boss, but my problem with the world boss has always just been what it was, not what it rewarded. I thought what it rewarded was always just fine for the stamina. In fact, like, even before this change, I don't know if you guys have noticed this. I don't think it's just my luck or anything like that, but the gear that I get from it, every time I get a gear piece, seems like that gear piece has darn near max rolls. Like, I seem to get better gear from World Boss than I get anywhere else, by a large margin.
I think that's just you. I haven't gotten one yet.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe I am just lucky, but, like, I don't know, it's been a pretty nice source of gear. You know, I've gotten a Molagora from it. Sometimes I just get the 6k gold, and I guess that's gonna feel much better now, because getting, like, 20k gold when you're finished it is like, okay, whatever, but...
Yeah,
I mean, I think it's gonna be good.
Increased the threshold for rewards, but since it officially opened and guild members can now assign our own support units, it'll definitely be a lot easier to reach like the 5 million or 4.8.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because
threshold.
I mean, like, you know, previously, would you have access to a team that was like 150k? It's like I can put a team on there, you know, a grass team or whatever easily. That's like, you know, 325 plus. You know, and the higher guilds, the people who have the really good gear, yeah, it's going to be super easy for them to crank out that, you know, that triple S plus. And you know, that's pretty good, because it'll be interesting to see just how much, because I know they were talking about how they were going to increase the chances of like gold and like the sparkly chests showing up and stuff like that as well. So, you know, here's hoping that that is definitely worth it. And the other thing too, with like pet snacks and those other runes being out of the pool, that might make some of the other things a little bit easier to get. Probably not. They'll just increase the percentage of gold dropping. But I mean, even still, that's, you know, at that top tier, that is still quite a bit of gold. So that'll hopefully alleviate some gold problems too that you know, are rampant in the game.
And like, people keep waiting for SG to address gold and stamina and things like that, but like, the entire game is built around gold and stamina, and they are super leery of messing with it for that reason.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
they've had this thing from the whole time, you know, it's been designed this particular way. They're nervous about changing it, and I think the way they're gonna change it is stuff like this. They're gonna start increasing the gold from World Buff. They're probably gonna mess with the gold from hunts or something, I don't know. And I think, I don't know that people are waiting for them to just like address something. And I don't think that's going to be what happens. I think it's going to be a slow evolving process.
Yeah, and I think the other thing too is like, regardless of what they were to say about it, like, hey, we're going to do this, like, you know, half the people would be super mad, and like the other half just like wouldn't care because they're busy farming, you know, a hunt 11 of some sort. But I do think that, you know, it is going to be a slow tweak, because, you know, you're right. The whole game does revolve around gold and stamina. Like, if you didn't have any stamina, well, I mean, you would literally just farm 24/7, and then, you know, what really would you have then? Because I mean, you would, it's one of those things where, like, if you play a game where gold's really, there's not too many gold sinks, you end up with like more gold than you could ever do anything with. Like, you know, take Grand Blue for instance. Like, I have more gold now than I think I could ever use for anything particular. I'm sure I'll find something, but it is kind of like one of those gates that you kind of need to manage your resources between different things. And I think that, you know, if they just slowly tweak it down a little bit, so it's a little bit easier with, like, you know, switching gear. I always thought that if they just cut the amount of gold required to like move gear around, that would be a big, huge help too. Not only just trying out different things, but like, you know, not the normal person isn't going to go through and change their entire gear sets out for like every guild war. I mean, that's not gonna be a thing. So just like taking it down a notch would probably help out a lot more people trying out different things, because like, you can put stats and everything on a character, but like, until you put that gear on that character and you run through like a Banshee 11 or whatever, like, you don't know for sure how that's going to work out. So they're like, a lot of testing things, you know, will cost millions upon millions of gold, moving just a certain piece over, you know, speed tuning, stuff like that. And I think if they cut that down, that would go a long way to helping alleviate some of those gold problems that a lot of people like myself have.
Yeah, and like,
It's like
who knows? They may add a gold
300K.
dungeon too. Oh, go ahead,
No,
Snow.
it's like 300K just to move like all the 85 gear from a character, and that is like an incredible amount
And
of
that's
gold.
to
That could
just
have
a
gone somewhere
naked
else.
character. That's just to
Yeah.
a naked character. Like if you're moving gear from a character to where a character has gear, oh dude, it's so expensive. And yeah, you're right. It could have went somewhere else. It could have went to, leveling gear up. I think that, they really need to come through, and if they need to address anything, it would be like blacksmithing. That is, I spent 82 million gold after the last event, just crafting, and I came out with like maybe a handful of like really good items. I mean, that was a lot of crafting and a lot of disappointment.
Yeah.
So I think that would be like one of the big things. Like for me, that's one of the big things that I would really like to see in the future. Like even if you had to like just say, let's crank up how many like dragon claws you have to put in there just to like guarantee like a certain set or like lock a stat or something like that. I think that would be, that would be beneficial, because, they're going to need to address the gear drought eventually. And that is like a big thing, because, they could like I've said before, I've got 100 plus 6 stars. They could give me a perfect piece of gear every single day, and I wouldn't be gearing all of those out anytime soon. So there's got to be a way for, even if it's like, oh, just grind out like one in every 100 wyvern runs drops a thing that can, well, 100 wyvern runs isn't really that many, I guess, in the long grand scheme of things. But anyways, really small chance of like maybe an item that will go, oh, this locks this into this set if you craft it, something along those lines. Kind of like the steeple item, but it would just drop. They could definitely do that, and that would help out a lot too. But that's
Actually,
something for sure.
Speaking of the steeple, you could use all that gear towards making a new piece of gear, but it still like gives you flat
RNG.
stats, and it's still another layer of RNG at the end of the day. Like for 3 weeks, I've been trying to get a speed crit damage neck from that place for the longest time. All of them just went like 3 flat stats, full flat stats, or even if it did give you something worthwhile, it still might roll crap at the end.
Yeah.
But something I am happy that they're doing is like for the world boss season, if you accumulated 40 million points, it'll give you like the equipment conversion gems, which we only get like maybe 3 a week, I think.
Yeah, it's
now.
pretty low. It is.
It's very low. But at the
So,
same time, like, it's so
I
hard to
have-
get gear at the moment, I almost never am able to use them, so I'm actually starting to pile a few up.
I always get
But,
my
yeah, I'm really
my
happy
conversion
that they're
gems are
doing
always like defense and effect resist.
I haven't
is-
gotten
yeah.
any HP, the blue HP gems at all, so I haven't been able to craft any helms. It's always like an attack gem or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
but-
that went a little far from my initial point, but basically what I'm trying to say is that, like, they will, I think they're just going to kind of slowly adjust things like that. Like, you'll notice we're getting free unequip quite a bit more often than we used to.
They stated that they're going to do it at least once a month, but it does seem like.
But it's been more than that, yeah.
Well, yeah, like when they put out like a new, it usually comes with like the beginning of like a season of something. So it's like, oh hey, we just dropped RTA today. Here, have free unequip so you can play around with it while that's going on.
Yep, that and stuff like kind of slowly buffing the world bus goal. We may or may not see a gold dungeon in the future. Summoners 4 had one, I think just stuff like that is how they're going to address it. I doubt they're going to be like, you know what? Let's just cut all of our gold prices across the board. I don't think they're...
Yeah, and I think
brave enough
that's
to do
what
that.
like a lot of the vocal minority want. They want them to come through and just like slash everything instead of tweaking it. And I keep trying to tell people, I'm like, that's never going to happen. Like I actually thought that the Alencia refund was kind of like out of the out there. I did not think that they were going to just give people back all of their bookmarks. Like, I thought they'd go, oh, here's like 5 bookmarks for that copy. And that was kind of crazy that they were so knee jerk about that one, with the fact that they've been so like kind of timid and like standoffish about like many of the other problems that they have.
It's been interesting to see the reactions of certain ways they do things. Like, I don't know, it seems to me that they kind of go through phases of like, let's be real careful, and then phases of knee-jerk reaction, and I'm not really sure why, but I've definitely noticed that.
Yeah, for sure. But speaking of knee-jerk reactions and does people on different sides of the fence pet snack removal that I thought they were never going to do either. So now pets no longer need pet snacks, and they can run auto up to 20 times before you need to just re-enter and do another 20 times. Now, I know you guys are happy about that. I thought that it was kind of and to be fair, it's not that I dislike it that much. Like, I mean, obviously it doesn't impact me. I'll just run it 20 times now. That's, now that I don't have to run pet snacks, because I never ran pet snacks in hunts anyways. I used them in hard modes when there were actual chests, not like the DN one was so good because you didn't have to pick up any chests. They were just like 5 waves right there in your face, super fast. But I usually used it for hell modes and side stories and cata farming and stuff like that. But I mean, I'm still going to use it. The big thing for me here is that this is the reason why I don't like it, is because it shows kind of a caving to the vocal minority that wants the game to be almost full auto. And I feel like they're going to take this and go, well, you gave us 20. And I know we were talking about it beforehand, with the surprise that there's not people complaining about how it's not, it's only 20. Now, I actually did see, and this is in the stove comments, and that doesn't actually really count because that's like the lowest IQ people that exist on the face of the earth, like reside in the stove comments. But they were already complaining about how it was only 20 and how they had to click back in and how they weren't going to be able to just let this run all night while they were sleeping. And, it's unacceptable. The game, they should not have a limit and all this other stuff. And my thing is I feel like this is going to be one of those things where a lot of those people who were complaining are going to be like, oh, look, well, they did this because we, review bombed the game. And I feel like a lot of them, first off, aren't going to go back and change their reviews in the first place. But they're going to just use this as fuel to go, see, look, we got our way. They caved to us at least a little bit, and that's going to potentially empower them more in the future, and they're going to just ask for more and more things because they're never going to be happy.
I don't know. To me, I don't think they really caved in. They kind of found like a happy medium for like just the right amount of autoing. But that's just me, because it could have given them full auto, like say up to 50. Like that could last a long time. They just settled for around 20, which is like not too much, not too little.
Yeah, so here's my stance on it. I don't think it feels like a cave to me. And even if it was a cave, it's up to the company to decide whether or not they cave to things in the future if the community goes crazy. Like, sometimes companies just go radio silent, and that's a choice they could make as well. But honestly, I think it's a smart decision for the overall health of the game. Like, we are basically the release cadence of heroes, even though it's much slower than it used to be. You still get way more heroes than you get gear and Mulligora and things like that. This lets people have more opportunities. They don't have to babysit Wyvern all of the time. If like I need to go out and run an errand, I can start at 20 runs and I can just go run my errand. And yeah, I mean, I get that people don't want it to be like full AFK, and I think they don't either, and I think that's why they put the 20 limit in. But at the same time, it's kind of like you're already gated by stamina. Yes, Shogun, you could farm 24/7 if you want to whale hard enough. That's going to cost you a lot of money.
Yeah,
a lot of money. I know, but like that's the thing, is it's going to cost people a lot of money. I figure if they want to spend thousands of dollars doing that, that's fine. To me, the good for the general player far outweighs that. And it's not like the whales don't already have like a 270 speed aux slots. I'm not kidding. I saw one of these. There was no speed imprint. The thing was 270. So it's not really like the thing about each unit too is it's not that like farming more often is going to get you better units. Like there is a hard cap to how good a unit can be if you have perfect gear. You're just going to have more units that approach that strength level. So I don't have a problem with it. I embrace the AFK. I am all for having to babysit Wyvern less. It's just a good thing for me.
I mean, I guess my thing is I just sit here for 14 hours a day, and if I only have one button to click every 20 minutes, then I'm going to have to find more gacha games to play, and then I'm going to have to spend more money on more gacha games. So you guys need to think about my wallet and my need to hit buttons more often.
That's fair. That's fair.
Don't lie to us. We all know you're only playing Arknights right now.
No, he's playing Grand Blue. He's playing Grand Blue too.
Grand Blue too often also.
But I can only play Arknights for about 5 hours because they cap how much stamina I can refill in that game, which is really weird. I was like,
and Grand Blue doesn't charge you for stamina. They just give you billions of stamina for free. So.
Literally all of it.
And also to those people in the stove comments that just want full auto, I'm like they don't need to listen to them too much. Like you don't need to listen to the smooth brainers.
Well, the one thing too though that I brought up in a video not too long ago was the fact that like that big revolt, the review bombing, like really didn't actually hurt their revenue that much at all.
It never does. Review bomb does not work.
Yeah.
Yeah, even someone from I can't remember what their job was or something like data analysis or something. Like review bombing Epic 7 wouldn't really do too much because it's already made like a good foothold on like a lot of areas. So
well, and like one of the
really
things too, people will bring up, they'll be like, oh well, this will deter new players, and it's like, yeah, but most people don't go to like Google Play to look for new games. They're already playing a mobile game, and somebody who's a friend of theirs is playing whatever said mobile game, and they go, hey dude, have you heard of this insert mobile game that I'm currently playing? It's pretty much the best thing that has ever existed in the history of mobile games, and I'm going to play it for another 3 months. You should totally get in on this. And so it doesn't matter. They'll go to the store and they'll be like, ooh, wow, this is like 2.7 stars. And their friend will be like, yeah, that's just a bunch of smooth brains on Reddit being butthurt over dumb stuff. And they're going to install the game and they're going to play it. Like that's really not, if anything, like a bad review on Google, like when I'm looking for something to first impression, I usually go to those games immediately because I'm like, oh man, I hope this game is like super, super bad because this is going to be really fun. So,
well, the thing too is like people have brains, right? Like they can look at the Google reviews, and some people have brains, and they can go and they look at the Google review, and they say that okay, this game's got like all 5-star ratings, and then a whole bunch of 1-star ratings. I wonder what happened to this game. Like there's no ratings in the middle; it's all 5 or 1. That's suspicious.
Pachex opens that sentence with, "People have brains. Over here, press X for doubt."
I mean, I didn't say stove. I didn't say Reddit. I said people.
And when you say all these games, like all these reviews having 5 stars, I just immediately think, knock knock, who's there? Raid Shadow Legends.
Forget everything you've ever known about reviews because Raid is the most ambitious project of our time, man.
We are now Raid Shadow Legends podcast.
No thank you. No thank you. I hope they don't hear this and then start sending me more emails. But no, we like went way off on a tangent there, but no, I mean it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I mean, you're right in that the big time sink in the game is farming. Now, I mean, I'm like I said, I'm going to still sit here and look at this screen for 14 hours a day. I'm just going to click buttons less. that's pretty much how that's going to go. So I mean, I guess that does give me more time to actually learn how to play the game by, you know, looking up stuff on the wiki and all of that stuff, so I can actually be good at the game. So I mean, I guess that's a net benefit.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I think also too, there's going to be a lot more people clamoring about the stamina issue because we're going to use stamina more now.
Right, because they're gonna go, oh well, I can auto all of this, but now I don't have enough stamina. Smilegate, Scamgate, please fix stamina, please.
Yep, we'll see what happens there.
And also, I recall in the dev notes that when they said since they allowed us to have these full, quote-unquote, full 20 auto thing,
Mhm.
they're going to make the future content more difficult or something along those lines.
I hope so. I'm kind of bored of Wyvern.
The first thing
Yeah.
that came to mind, all the way back in like the summer dev notes, where's the Hell Raid bosses?
Oh, dude, never coming.
Yeah, and keep in mind too that these pet changes haven't happened yet. They're just in the dev
Yeah.
notes, right? Along
Oh.
with Hell Raid bosses.
That's another thing that we forgot to discuss or even talk about. Snow, is the fact that they're making it so the first time that you kill any of the raid bosses, you're guaranteed a piece of gear.
67
Yeah.
gear.
The 67 ones.
Well, I mean, that's good for new players. I mean,
It
you gotta
is.
think.
It absolutely
yeah,
is.
so-
definitely.
Yeah. So there's like a lot of times when like they'll put out changes and people will complain about it, and like if you look at it, it's like phenomenal for
Yep.
like a new or mid-tier player, and then people are like, this sucks, this is bad, this isn't what I want. And it's like, well, yeah, but you're not the vast majority of people. There's a lot of people who are still mid-game. So I mean, I would like
A
it.
lot of
I
players are
honestly
actually
think
mid-game.
Yeah, I honestly think that if you kill a boss in raid or hell raid, it should never not drop a piece of gear. I don't care if that piece of gear has like the most garbage stats ever. To kill a hell raid boss and not even get a single piece of gear or like a Moonlight bookmark or a GTS or anything like that is like the most ridiculous thing ever to me, because like that should 100% drop something from like a gear table. Like
I heard something
yeah.
too that I think probably could be a little interesting. I forget actually where it was. It might have been one of the other content creators. But basically, a lot of the theory that the reason they delayed the Hell Raid bosses for so long may be that they are trying to totally overhaul Hell Raid. Because if you remember way back in the
literally,
day,
they said they were going to.
yeah, they once said too that like it was going to be a monthly thing, and it's only
Right.
weekly because we only had the two bosses. But it may be that they've decided to just full change the system, and so we may end
Yeah.
up with something totally different.
Oh yeah.
That was something that sounded good, maybe on paper, like 5 Hell Raid bosses, for only 1 or 2, well, maximum 2 malicious bug charms. It's very difficult to try to find some kind of piece behind that.
And those charms are expensive too. Like if I want to buy a Hell Raid entry from the shop, like my ancient coins need to go to gear, guys. I can't buy these tokens for like over 1K.
I don't know about you, but I don't get any.
No, I don't ever buy them.
Oh, I mean, I do
Well,
because I need
it's
to do
only
both.
like 1,200 ancient coins, which actually is quite a lot for now. But maybe in the future they're gonna make it so all the regular raid bosses drop a malicious bug charm.
Or
Who
what they
knows?
might do is they might make it so that the bosses in Hell Raid will drop a malicious bug charm. So you have one to get in, and then when you kill a boss, then you can do another boss. So you kind of have to be able to kill at least one boss to get a entry into the next Hell Raid. So you would have to be able to clear all of the previous bosses before you could kill Queen.
I could get behind that.
Yeah.
I could live with that. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
And I think like even with like the maximum amount of like morale that you could get, like you still can't do 2 bosses in Hell Raid. Like especially if you're hitting all of the mini bosses, like for sure, because I mean there's a lot more mini bosses on left and right side than there is in normal raid. So
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like
yeah.
3, I think.
They
per
drop
each,
worthwhile things
so-
too.
2, 3, 4. No, there's 4 on each side. 4 on, I believe 4 or 5 on left side, and I know there's 5 on right side. Because there's 2 on the way to Karakonis, and then there's 3 up in the
yes,
up in the
you're
area.
right.
Yeah. So, and I mean, if you're not doing the mini bosses in Hell Raid, like, you're literally doing yourself a disservice, because you're going to get all kinds of cool DPS defense rings that are going to have the most confusing stats ever on them, and you're going to try to find somebody. You're going to try to find somebody to use them on.
Yes, you will.
It's gonna be Fighter Maya.
It's 100% going to be Fighter Maya. Yeah. I have so many Fighter Maya rings and like DPS Crow.
Yeah, DPS Crow.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm thinking about putting together a crit damage Tamarin, not gonna lie.
That would be, I want to see how that works out. That's actually one of the things that I think would be really interesting. If they could reduce the amount of gold that it costs for like switching gear around, is just trying out like real stupid builds in like in RTA. Like, there's so many, like, I want to do, you know, counter Tamarin. There you go. You know, or you know, speed, I don't know, speed somebody. But
speaking of which, did we ever talk about RTA on this podcast before?
Yeah, we talked about RTA like when it came out. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I forgot.
I definitely want to talk about more about it in the future for sure. We could have like a whole RTA episode, because there's a lot to talk about with RTA
for sure.
and like what is coming up with all of that stuff in the future. But in the sake of time, let's talk about the new quality of life upgrades that we got. The one that I love the most, and I was actually like literally talking about this not too long ago on stream, and how frustrating it is on like when you're clearing the side shop, how you can't just buy all of them at one time. There's no slider, there's no drop down, no nothing. And they're like, hey guys, guess what? We're going to put a slider in. We're going to make it so you can do this. And all that gold that you have to turn in like 150 of these for, yeah, just buy as many as you want, dude. And that is like the best thing ever for me.
I think it's great. I can also see people buying the wrong thing and buying lots of the wrong thing. In fact, I think it's already happened on Reddit.
You know what? Yeah. If you are that high IQ, then you know what? You get what you get.
The guy bought like 390 flags or something. That's 2.8k skystones down the drain.
Rip. Maybe pay attention to what you're clicking on. I mean, I can't say that I've never done something like that before, or like sold a piece of gear that I didn't have locked that was plus 15 and like really good because I was tired, and then I'm like, wait, did I? Oh shit, I just sold that piece of gear. Oh well, that's the thing I gotta live with. So, you know,
we're talking about QOL. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say there have been times before where I thought that I had fed like a 5-star to a. Oh no, I literally fed a shiny pet to another pet that I was leveling up because I didn't lock it, and it was C skill, and I had it sorted by skills, and I was just slamming pets through the mouth of that other pet, and then like later I was like, I'm gonna level up that shiny pet, and I'm like, where's that shiny pet? And I'm like, oh, I probably fed it to this dog. Rip.
I actually saw someone use a Spectre Tenebria on accident as a 5-star fodder.
That's bad civilization right there.
Yeah, it was. They were upset.
Yeah. I can imagine.
I don't know about you, like you guys or anyone else, but whenever I get a shiny pet, I stop what I'm doing. I go there and lock it.
Mm-hmm.
That was literally the first shiny pet that I ever got. And
then there's Julian Z. They're just like, you guys lock stuff.
Yeah.
I don't actually lock gear anymore. I tried to find all kinds of different ways to lock gear that like I could organize and keep track of what was good and what wasn't good. It just didn't work, so I unlocked every piece of gear I've got. I don't lock it.
What if you guys accidentally feed it?
I won't.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't usually feed anything that's like plus like anything that's 85 I usually look at before I put it in there, because I'm like, I don't know if I like this. I need to look at these stats, and then I have to like sit there and consider whether or not I'm going to keep this because I'm a hoarder. And yeah, but yeah, usually I lock it. Like if I know it's something that's good that I'm going to level up, then I lock it so I don't accidentally just slam it into another piece of gear.
While we're on the subject of QOL, I'm just gonna go ahead and talk about my favorite QL. It was in the dev notes. It wasn't here, but JP voices are coming.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
machi kutabireta yo.
Nerd. Oh man, yeah, no, I'm super excited now. I can actually listen to it with sound.
Yeah, and they also did say that for the characters that have not been JP voiced, it's just gonna be stuck in like Korean or whatever other language that you were set to, I think.
Yeah,
Oh,
like don't
interesting.
get me wrong. I don't mind the English voices or the Korean voices; they're just fine. But like, I speak Japanese too, right? So anything that I can do, especially since I am an interpreter in real life, to get more exposure and more practice to listening to it. So like, if I can play a game in Japanese, I play the game in Japanese. So I've been waiting for this for a long time.
I will never get the ML Ken voice I want because they permanently changed that ML voice, like ML Ken voice on the Korean one to some prepubescent boy or whatever.
I wonder why they do that. Like, I don't know. Usually it doesn't make a lot of sense unless the voice actor's been in some kind of a controversy.
Yeah. But it just lost all the grit and what made ML Ken so awesome. So I'm hoping that the JP ML Ken is actually amazing.
He's not that good.
JP
Yeah.
Dark Corvus is a badass, though.
Yeah, JP Dark Corvus is super good. Have they? Oh, is Charles in the game over there?
I don't think so.
I can't wait to hear JP Charles. Oh
Gonna
my
be
god,
good.
if he is not the like most manly badass butler guy, yeah, they could get Sabus's voice actor from Overlord to do him.
Oh,
That
that would be
good.
great.
I actually like BBK's JP voice. She sounds like an executioner.
Yeah, that one was pretty good. The thing is though, is like I looked at the chart like previously a couple times of like all the voice actors that they got for the different voices in JP, and like man, they got some like crazy good voice actors, like just some
Yeah, they have
prolific dudes.
A-class voice.
That's one thing I've noticed about games who get JP voice actors in general is like, I mean, take a look at Granblue. Granblue has like everyone in the industry. It seems like voice actors in JP are much more willing to be like, yeah, I'll go voice this guy in a game. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know what this gacha game is, but yeah, I'll voice this guy.
I mean, they probably get paid pretty good too, depending on like who they are. So you
Yeah.
know, yeah, if somebody was like, hey, we'll give you like, you know, 100K to like go voice this go voice this little thing that turns into a fox, I would be like, yeah, okay, 100%, let's do this.
Yes, that's pretty nice. I mean, they've got really good voice actors and actresses. It's gonna be good quality.
What I'm hoping though is that means that they're gonna just, as soon as the servers hit parity, they're gonna pop JP into the RTA pool, and then I can stand around in Akihabara and dunk on people and then show them why America is area code #1. That's right. That's literally, hopefully by December they're caught up, because they're not going to be caught up by March. But if they're caught up by December, when I go back over there for Grand Blue Fest, I'm literally just going to stand around and RTA Japanese people.
You
That'll
gotta
be
lock
fun.
eyes. You gotta make sure they lock eyes with you first, right?
Oh, 100%. Although that might be hard because they don't usually lock eyes with people at all.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
I'll call out to him in Japanese, Shogun. It'll work.
Yeah.
I
I'll
think
just
there's one
wear
thing
my
that
Bandit Keith
everyone
cosplay.
could kind of agree on is that it doesn't matter what language, Krau's S3 is the greatest thing in the world.
That is true.
Yeah.
And I finally got both him and Charles. It's a good time to be an Epic 7, guys.
Yeah, although
good-
you know, I'm super interested in the fact that like haven't all of the last husbandos been grass, considering we're getting Pavel.
Yes, actually, I think this is gonna be like once Pavel comes out, it's gonna be like the 5th Earth unit banner.
I think they are really trying to get rid of some of the water meta.
Well, I mean by meta you mean Seaside Bell.
Well, yeah, by Seaside, I think they're really trying to get rid of Seaside Bell.
I actually I get into that conversation with people because they're like, oh man, the water meta. I'm like,
Yeah, the water
who-
meta's dead.
I'm like, who do you see in water other than like Seaside Bell and an occasional Crow?
Once
like-
upon a time, it was Dizzy, but that is no longer the case.
Yeah, and Disney's not
see
going to be an RTA till we
Dizzy-
get the
I see Dizzy
Guilty
maybe, like-
Gear rerun.
one in every couple teams for
You
Disney.
know, we're going to get that Guilty Gear rerun, right? And people are going to be like, bruh, epic rerun. Give us something new.
I wonder if they'll still say Biken's terrible.
Yeah,
will.
probably. They still do.
My best unit.
Imagine.
But actually, since we're on the topic of Pavel, do you really think he's gonna be an SSB killer?
Yes.
Because people usually pair her with Fallen Cecilia, and that bear is actually kind of a problem?
I mean, the barrier, maybe, but I mean, if you build him with enough damage, then he's going to be able to run through her. One of the big things with Seaside Bell is that she shares her damage with other people, so she doesn't take as much damage. This means that he's going to be effectively doing that much more percentage damage to her. And I mean, a lot of people don't run her very tanky in the slightest, and having, you know, elemental advantage means that like his S2, and then he buffs himself into the S3, is gonna probably either kill her or do quite a bit of damage.
That's true. Nullifying the damage share is going to be a big deal.
Yeah, not only that, but I mean, not even just Seaside Bell. I mean, that kind of takes your Arius holder out of play, because whoever your squishy person is, it doesn't matter, because he's completely ignoring that. I don't think that he's going to be another one of those characters that's going to come out. He's going to have a niche. He's going to be a very niche character, much like Moonlight Litica. And people are going to say that he is absolute garbage, absolute trash, because he can't do what he does to that one character to every character. And that is, I actually feel like a lot of the characters that they're putting out now are very specific tools. I mean, look at Alencia, for example. Alencia, everybody thought that Alencia was going to be the new Charles, and she wasn't. But
I mean, to be fair, it's pretty hard to be a Charles, right?
It is really hard to be a Charles, but like, she takes Crow and Charles and like slaps them together. She does do some okay damage, but that team-wide defense buff is huge. Not only that, but she strips the other team's buffs. So it's like, oh darn, you just put up your your maid Chloe buffs. Sure would be a shame if somebody just yelled those right off of there and then gave everybody on the team a defense buff. Like, I ran Alencia with Charles, Seaside Bell, and DN, and with DN's S3 and Alencia's defense up, it, like, a Vildred just did like no damage. Like, I killed an Arbiter Vildred, he came back and like barely dented my team.
Because, something I've noticed is that people do really underestimate buffs. That, like, in particular, defense buff is one of them. It makes a huge difference.
It really
does.
It
is the difference between you killing a thing and not killing a thing, usually. Like, that's one of the reasons Crow is still so popular, is like, yes, he's got the S3 that when he gets low can wipe somebody out, but like, the defense buff to the whole team causes a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
sure.
there are those like 220 Crows that just immediately get the defense buff up. Like, what do you do now?
Yeah.
And like, some people in our guild too, like, they were trying to put together a team, and I'm like, where's your attack buff? And they're like, oh, I don't have one. I guess, you know, it's not really needed. I'm like, put an attack buff on it and try this again. And he puts the attack buff on it and tries it again. He's like, oh my gosh, it killed it. I'm like, yeah, that's because attack buff is a big deal.
Yeah, actually, that's why I made that my Rengar's Crash Course video about the buffs, because like, a lot of people don't know how important like buffs are and getting certain buffs onto your team, and like, you know, not bringing redundant buffs when you could bring, you know, a character that does somewhat the same thing but brings like a different thing to it. And I mean, like, you know, Alencia, for example, you have a single target defense breaker with a pretty high rate of defense breaking, if you soul burn 100%, but you get buff strip, you get defense up. You know, she does okay-ish damage, and she's going to be a tanky bruiser. So it's like, you know, a lot of people just want they complained about a Ravi, and now they're complaining about her being overpowered. It's like, certain characters have a role to play. You don't always need a hammer. Sometimes you need a pair of calipers, and you're not going to be slamming a nail in with a pair of calipers because it's not going to work that well. So it's like, a lot of the characters that they're putting out, you know, like I said, Moonlight Litica had a very set kit and you have to build around them. Imagine in a game where you have to build a team, building a team around a certain character. Madness, I tell you. People will say, oh, but you have to build a whole team around this character in order to make them shine. It's like, imagine investing in a character and building a team around them in order to bring out their full potential. In my 2020, no sir, I will not have any sort of that BS-ery. But, so immediately people who see these characters are just like, this character's trash. A lot of people saw Pavel's data mined modifiers, and they're just like, oh, this guy sucks. This guy's literal trash. He's not going to do anything at all.
I mean, he's kind of like a male assassin collie in a sense. He's got
Sorta.
like 124 speed, I think.
Yeah,
and
he's pretty fast.
Assassin collie with 126. Like, she is based on like her speed scaling also, and but people like to just like find some kind of balance between her, squeezing out as much attack as possible, and while maintaining a lot of speed. He might be the same case.
Absolutely.
Possibly, yeah. And
I think so.
kind of like Shogun said, heroes are designed for certain things, and like I think in Pavel's, his modifiers are kind of low, but at the same time, like again, it goes back to the people don't really realize how powerful buffs are. I don't think people realize how much damage is being mitigated by those damage share. When you start ignoring damage share, it's probably good he doesn't have higher modifiers.
Yeah, I mean, look at Watcher Shuri. Why is Watcher Shuri so good? Because he literally ignores defense. Like, if his modifiers were like some nutty, Mersa level modifiers, then, I mean, he would one-shot. I mean, he already one-shots everybody off the map anyway, so I guess that's a bad example, right?
Yeah, true.
But that's the thing is, like, a lot of people, they don't know, like, they hear modifiers and they don't see what kind of damage that can put out. Personally, like, I like to go to the damage calculator before I even like worry about modifiers, because I kind of got into that like a little bit, like, because I was like starting to like I looked at like Wanda's. I did like a Wanda review for that one stream and stuff like that, and I was like, oh, modifiers, blah blah blah, modifiers this, modifiers that, and then I talked to like somebody in Discord and they're like, yeah, here, actually try like this damage calculator, and like this will give you a better idea of like how much damage this character can use and do. And I know you showed me like some damage the other day too, Pachex, from a damage calculator. So it's like looking at a damage calculator paints a much better picture of what the character can do against like like standard stats that the enemy might have, versus like, oh, well, this character's got a modifier of 1.2765 and that is 0.7265 better than this other character, so that means that this other character is completely obsolete. But you don't actually look at like the rest of the kit that the character brings. I mean, the fact that Pavel literally has like the self-imprint attack up like is huge as well. So rolling for, extra copies of him just to give himself that ego imprint for the attack up is pretty big, unless you're going to run him with like another DPSer that has like the team wide attack up. So that way you can just share amongst both. Ego fragmenting him there, that's going to give him a lot more attack. So he's going to be super fast. He's going to have high attack. You're going to build him for crit, like, obviously. So, the amount of and he is going to be like an assassin collie where you are going to need to kind of balance things out. It's like, yeah, I could make like a super fast assassin Sid, but he's not going to do any damage. My Kayron can be like 263, I think I could get him up to, but is he going to do anything? No, he's going to hit like a wet noodle and then just do nothing. So, he's going to be one of those characters you're going to have to like tune a little bit. But I do think that, if they put somebody out there that, is like, oh, because you almost always bring an Arius holder because you want to have the damage mitigation, you want to have the damage share, stuff like that. And this just completely negates that, takes it off the table, because, I mean, anybody who's played in any RTA knows that 900% of the time Seaside Bell is picked.
She is there. Yep. She's there. She's banned.
Yeah. So it's like, if you get first pick, you either pick her or the other person's going to pick her. So and then you have to ban or deal with her. Which, I mean, sometimes I'm just like, yeah, take it. I don't care. I got ways around that.
It's either her or that arbiter.
Yeah, and actually, like, both of those, I have, stuff around that. I get sad when they ban my MRSA, though.
They keep banning my spez. Stop banning my spez.
Yeah.
You mentioned Wanda. Wanda actually is like one of my favorite units too, and she's a good example of kind of what you were talking about each unit having their niche. People still say that like she's awful, right? But she's one of my favorite units. Like, no, she's not good against everyone. And yes, I use her with spez memes, and I know that's not necessarily the best team, but it's fun periodically when I can run it. But at the same time, what she is good at is anytime I see a Fat Cat or a Violet, out she comes.
Yeah, 100%.
And like she's the reason, reason I win every time.
And I think that like where she shines the most actually is in Guild Wars, because like you don't have a ton, like you don't have that extra person there. Like I think not having like the extra person there to do more damage, like AoE damage, potentially drop her down, makes it a boon for her, because you can just kind of run her plus like a DN plus usually I will run I'll run MRSA, Wanda, and DN, and that's just who I run, and it just I can focus down, like I'll 2-turn stun whoever their healer is, and then I can just focus down through target whatever one of their DPSers, and then it's like you just stun CC somebody, and then you run a train on their damage, and then whoever else is there, you just slowly whittle them down. Because like that's how I took out a Dark Corvus team the other day, is I brought that team, and at first I was like, oh man, this is going to be real bad. I done goofed. This Dark Corvus is just going to kill everybody. But like I literally just kept him, I ignored him for a while, killed the other two by locking down their healer, and then I just literally lapped him endlessly and just kept silencing him and stunning him, and it was pretty much the easiest fight ever after I kind of got my rhythm down.
Well, like I don't know anybody who says Wanda's garbage. I don't think they know what her soul burn does.
Yeah, no, they don't.
There's very few characters that warrant like, oh, this character is absolute garbage.
Yeah, Wanda's soul burn ignores effect resist on that stun, that 2-turn stun.
2-turn stun, 2-turn unhealable.
So yeah,
just completely ignores it. Also, people should start running Timeless Anchor on slow characters, because all you have to do to get around Crimson Seed or whatever is, if they're slow enough, you just put a debuff on them, and then after that every other debuff just sticks, because that one's only one turn per turn, whereas Timeless Anchor is limitless.
Yep, that's actually why I've noticed a lot of Dark Corvuses switching over to that.
Yeah,
base 50% that's not limited at all.
Yeah,
and
versus like the other one that's like what 60% and one per turn, 70. Yeah.
Mind you, I just used Durandal on my Dark Corvus, and I run him with Isaria so that he gets a turn.
But let's be honest, it's 2% on you, 100% on defense.
True.
Yeah, for sure.
But
no,
actually,
that's another thing is like, oh, go ahead.
Speaking of characters that are garbage, I believe there is a new character.
That's right.
I'm done.
ML Tywin, and he is absolutely not garbage, because I rolled 2 of him this morning and immediately took him to 60. He is already plus 10, and ML Tywin plus Elena, if my Elena didn't have absolutely scuffed trash gear, I would be doing a lot better, and I'm doing really good regardless, because it's stupid. I just go right anytime I see a Bazaar now, I'm just like, oh yeah, buddy, here it goes. ML Tywin, I run ML Tywin, Elena, and then like Charles and Seaside Bell, and it's just done, because Bazaar goes, unless that Bazaar for some reason is running an Abyssal Crown, which seems to be a thing that they're doing now. His debuffs are gone, and then Elena does her S2, tomes right to the front, invulnerability, and then just gone from there. It's the most fun thing ever.
Yeah, that's a pretty good use of her. I guess he would be good against Bazaar's on defense. I was just always thinking about offense, because people are like, oh man, he's the cleave Bazaar killer. And I'm like, I don't know that he is, because, I mean, like, unless you have the Elena comp, but like, because basically, if I'm taking him on offense, I'm taking him in a cleave team, and I've got 2 books. And so, like, and my Bazaar doesn't have to soul burn necessarily. He's got enough effectiveness. So it could be an annoyance for you to suck souls, but I don't think you're going to suck enough souls for me to not get my cleave off.
Right, but yeah,
defense,
on defense, yeah, you want to run him with Elena. So
Yeah, a lot of people were saying, yeah, if him paired with Elena, it almost counters a Bazaar cleave. So
Elena's really good. People really underestimate her.
And then there's the meme team where people will put like a Charles CC, Fallen CC, and ML Tywin together all on Elbrus with a Seaside Bell.
Oh gosh.
why are you looking at the team that I'm like currently like gearing out? I actually want to get a 4th Elbrus so that I can run ML Tywin, Fallen CC, Fighter Maya, and then Charles. Just literally everybody is going to be getting counter, and they're all going to be on counterattack sets.
Jeez.
Every last one of them.
100% proc rates for counter.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, maybe I should put a General Purges in there instead, so that way, like, if they're AOE
or regular Purges
or regular Purges, yeah, just literally like gonna be the RNG team I've always been dreaming of.
That's what we all love about Epic 7, isn't it?
Just put them all on auto and then let RNGesus take the wheel. But no, he's really good. Not only that, but like the provoke chance on his S1 is pretty stupid high. Like
I think it was like 75%.
It's 75% chance, yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah. So it's like not only that, but like so I took him in on offense against a couple of Bazaars, right? And so Bazaar comes out, does his thing, all of his debuffs are gone. I Elbrus counter and then provoke him, so he's not doing anything the next turn. He took a bunch of damage because I actually built my Tywin tanky bruiser, so he's got like 225 crit damage with like a 99% chance to crit and like a pretty decent amount of attack, but he's also got like 18k hit points, so like he hits like a truck and can take some hits pretty easily, and just debuffs just gone, easy peasy. I'm gonna probably like one of my defensive Guild Wars teams is him, and then DN, and then a Ravi. So that one should be real tough to get through.
It'll be beefy for sure.
Yeah,
it will be a really fat team.
Yeah. Ooh, I could have put a fat cat in there. That'd have been really annoying. But
I definitely will not be getting an ML Tywin because I have no mystics because I use them all in FCC.
I'm 8 from pity right now, so.
Oh, you know what else I got in the mystic banner as well for Cecilia's.
Okay.
So now my Fallen Cecilia is double F or double S.
Double F.
I still have no Fallen CC. I'm not getting him either. I'm going to be saving my mystics, and the next time we get a super waifu, I'm going to roll that one, and she's going to be terrible, and it'll be okay. I'll still love her.
Who do you think the next ML is going to be in Mystics?
The next ML in Mystics, it'll be one we've already had, yeah.
So, if they wanted to like milk everyone for what they're worth, they would put like an arbiter in there, maybe.
It's going to happen at some point.
I would roll for Arbiter.
10?
I once had an Arbiter and I traded him for Spectre Tenebria.
I would actually like an ML Ken because then I could sleep on the next month and then save up because I'm 40 away from pity, and then I could just sleep on it and then get my my next ML5.
Oh wait, it might be a.
If it's a Ruel, then I am in danger.
I think, well, there's a couple things. It could be a Realm of Light if they are going to go from, like, light, dark. Right now, it's a new character who happens to be light, so it might be Ruel or Maid next.
Didn't we get a Maid that long ago?
Yeah, we got Maid not too long ago, so I can't see them doing Maid.
That didn't stop them from getting Fallen Cecilia.
Yeah, but Fallen Cecilia was in before. It was a while for Fallen Cecilia because Fallen Cecilia was the last character in before we got the pity, because I remember specifically spending literally everything that I had Mystic wise on every single Mystic pack because somebody who's a Smilegate employee was just like, Shogun, just buy another one. There's only so many, this will be the next Mystic pack right here. This will be it. I don't get a cut from this or anything, but you should definitely do it. And then I did it.
Why are you telling him to do that?
And I literally literally did not get a single ML5. But like I was saying on stream, when I was pulling, when that refund came back, I was Scrooge McDucking my way through all of those mystics that I got from the refund until I had to like go to pity for like two ML5s, and then they were all gone.
Pretty much.
Well, there's someone in our guild who never hits pity in mystics, so.
I think if they really want to just kind of mess with people, what they'll do is they'll put ML Ken on the mystic, because lots of people will roll for ML Ken, and then they'll all get him, and then they'll all get him, and then they'll realize he's actually nowhere near as easy to build as they think he is.
Yeah.
And they won't have the gear to make a good one.
If they want to target those big brainers, they'll put Dark Corvus in there.
That too.
Yeah, Dark Corvus, Arbiter Vildred, or ML Ken would be easy marks.
Yeah, like there's so many people out there, they're like, oh man, ML Ken's so overpowered, you just like throw anything on him and then he'll just counter everything and he'll just win them all solo. I'm like, that's no one who actually has ML Ken thinks that way. He's really hard to build.
The fun thing about ML Ken is that like, there's the arena defense ML Ken where you make him tanky and very bruisery, and then there's the RTA ML Ken where they stack him up with all sorts of crit chance and crit damage and a little bit of HP.
Yeah, because you want him to be a threat.
Yeah, I saw on Warbalt's video when he was fighting against Rek. Once enough battle frenzy happens, you can straight up one shot the entire team with that S3.
Jeez.
The soul burned S3, yeah.
Yep. Like the Varel just disappeared.
Yeah, I've been thinking about. I've got like a really tanky bruiser destruction set. I typically run it on my Charles. I've been thinking about moving it over to my Ken to see how that does. Just run him with like that and Sigurd's Scythe, because when I'm going up against like an Arbiter or something like that, I do like to have him tanky just so that he can eat like a Greater Basket, Vildred, Revival, and then just counter and get literally all of his hit points back. Because I run mine Sigurd Lifesteal. And people are like, well, that doubles up that. You don't need that much. And then I'm like, yeah, but I like to see him go from like a sliver of hit points to literally his entire hit point bar back. It's just very, very satisfying when I see
back
that.
over to lifesteal for that same reason, actually. I feel like it's pretty valuable to have him be able to heal on every time he hits, as opposed to just below 50.
You could never settle on the Nemo Ken selling. I don't know how much mil of gold you
No, it's always free unequipped, dude. Like, I don't actually spend it in the meantime.
Hey, good for you on that.
And what happens with my ML Ken is he changes builds depending on my gear needs for the rest of the heroes I build. So, like, if I've got somebody who's, like, in massive need of that lifesteal set, I'll give it to him, and then I'll just give him the destruction set again.
I kind of do actually want to play.
But I do prefer him.
ML Ken.
Oh yeah, I do actually prefer him with the lifesteal though. My favorite way to build ML Ken is kind of tanky with lifesteal. It's done more work for me.
Oh yeah, for sure. But we're a little bit over an hour. So anything else that you guys want to talk about before we finish this up?
Not really. Maybe like talking about how the Guild War reset, these new guilds are now number 1. And I was actually expecting Life to take number 1, but it looks like Big Band is the new ambition.
No, we all know it. We all know it's Shogunate, which is recruiting.
True. That's right. I was literally going to say that if you didn't, Pachex. Yeah, Shogunate is recruiting.
We are the new ambition.
We are the new ambition in that we're just going to quit. No. But no, yeah, we're just...
Quit, I'm going to move to Trap House, the best guild in the game.
Yeah. But, yeah, no, if you guys are looking for a guild, even if you're not looking for a PvP guild, we do have a couple of other guilds. But if you are looking to do some PvP, push the boundaries of your Guild Wars limitations and go even further beyond and
play
then,
Raid Shadow Legend.
No, we are not sponsored by them. Don't say
and
that.
then int right into every single tower and become Picasso because you're going to be drawing like a madman, then we are the guild for you. Just join the Discord down in the description. Hit up myself, Pachex, or Snow, or just spam the E7 channel with, hey, I want to join the Shogunate, and then get banned by foe. But then, just let us know, and we will talk to you and see if you are a good fit for the Shogunate.
Remember, you guys need to be at least challenger level and logging in every day and doing all your Guild War attacks to stay in Shogunate.
And just give me catalysts.
And that's just so you don't get destroyed by the people we fight. It's not that we're like super hardcore about it, but like if you're not in Challenger, you're probably gonna have a hard time against the people we fight.
Yep. Even if you're in Challenger, you're gonna have a hard time sometimes.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, once we hit like those top 200s.
Yeah, for sure. But anyways, all right. Well, this was episode 4. We'll be back in eventually with the next episode of the Infinite Library
When it's ready.
when it's ready, like a Bethesda game, not full of bugs. Anyways, guys, thank you guys for joining and listening. And if you do like this, just drop a subscribe, like, comment down below with whether or not Snow has convinced you to buy Mystic Packs as well. I'm gonna get a class action lawsuit together, and I need to get as many people in on that as possible. And we'll catch you next time. Take it easy, homies. Peace.